Oh, man.
You can't even win that. What's going on, guys? Another edition of Analytically Correct here with Rob. Stretch producing as always. We're here at Public House on University, connected to Shamrock Liquors. Come on down, good drinks, good liquor, all that good stuff. We're going to start this week with pretty much the main story. It'll probably be pretty NBA heavy this show with free agency. Call it this episode the free agency fucktacular.
For some. For some.
I haven't heard anybody else say it, but maybe they will now after this. Let's get it trending. The free agency fucktacular. And that was Stretch saying fuck free agency, where I think we could probably start as with the Knicks and the Nets. One is up, one is down. Pretty much, we were hearing for a while, I think it was that KD and Kyrie were both going to sign with Knicks. And then kind of like last minute or like towards like the 11th hour, both of them wound up going to Brooklyn. What was your whole take on as far as, and we'll get into like the specifics of all the other free agents and everything, but I think the Brooklyn-New York Knicks thing is like the main talking point as far as free agency goes. What do you think about the Knicks not getting them, the Nets getting them, and then as far as like, do you think it was a good idea for the Nets? Like,
okay, first off, anyone who says getting Kevin Durant's a bad idea is just jealous and upset they didn't get him, so shut up. Just shut up. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care if we have him for 3 years. Kevin Durant is going to be just fine. And if you doubt that he's going to be just fine, here's my bold prediction on Kevin Durant. Not only when he comes back is he going to win the MVP, but he will win the Finals MVP. Kevin Durant's going to be that driven to come back. Everyone wants to say, oh, it's an Achilles injury, blah, blah, blah. Guys, sports medical is going to make him just fine. He is going to, and you've heard me since I've got on the show.
Which you actually know something about sports medicine.
Yes.
You're actually into the whole thing, so you're not just like talking out of your ass.
No, I'm not. And also, that's one thing that Brooklyn was really priding
Also a
themselves
disclaimer
on.
that you are a Nets fan.
Oh, diehard Nets fan.
So we have both of those. You're credible, but you're also a Nets fan.
You've also heard me on
that being said,
since I've got on the show, the big thing I said about Brooklyn is Sean Marks done a hell of a job, and it's been a 3-year thing with them going after these two guys. They have been planning for this specific free agency. We bought out contracts with Timothy Mozgov to get D'Angelo Russell. We were able to send Russell out, but having Russell and go to the playoffs did help us stay relevant. But on top of that now, when you look at it, everyone talked about how great our training facilities and our medical facilities are too in Brooklyn. They're state-of-the-art and they're top-notch in the NBA. That's a big thing. But I also don't believe the Knicks really ever had that strong of a shot because, like I said before, James Dolan does not keep people around. Like Kyrie made kind of clear that, and since literally they lost that series when he was on the Celtics, that he was going to be living in South Orange again. He grew up a Nets fan. I never thought he was going to. For a year and a half, I said these two would be on the Nets because I thought the Knicks would not only find a way to screw it up, but they wouldn't find the roster to keep it together. When you look at the Nets roster up and down, it's a very good roster. I know people don't watch the Nets, so people are going to say what they want. So your ignorance will speak for you, but I'll help you guys out. Dinwiddie, 6th Man of the Year potential.
Yeah.
You have Jared Allen, who's a young Defensive Player of the Year potential. You have Karis LeVert, who's
Michigan.
a very young shooter. Yes, very, very young, good shooter. You have Joe Harris, another great three-point shooter. You're now replacing D'Angelo.
You won the three-point shooting contest, yeah.
And I don't like resulting to that, saying because Steph's
No, but
definitely a better
but I mean, yeah, I mean.
But he got his
he's a good
name out
shooter.
there
Yeah,
from
he's a good
doing
shooter.
that. My big thing with that team is when you look at it and us adding those two now, whether we get Durant for only 3 years, that's still 3 years of Durant. Like, I'm willing to take that because with Kyrie's also been coming out wanting to prove something. He's playing at home again now. Like, he grew up a Nets fan. He's from 20 minutes down the road from there. It's like, this is a big thing for him as well and kind of a big proving ground for him. And this is also more of a roster that I think is not I'm trying to prove that I'm the man roster like Boston. Like Boston had that with Jaylen Brown.
Right.
He had that with Rozier. You had it with Tatum. Like there were just more Gordon Hayward.
Kyrie kind of wanted to go to Boston to have his own team and get out from under the shadow of LeBron. And people say, well, we saw what that looked like in Boston, but we didn't really because he had all these guys who didn't really like respect him. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals like without him. So he's not coming in there and saying like, oh, all this profound things that aren't actually profound. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. Like coming into the Nets next year, especially with Durant being out for the year, that's really going to be his team.
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not you think trading him for D'Angelo Russell basically is going to change their record all that much, I actually like D'Angelo Russell a lot, Ohio State aside. But next year is not the year. I mean, you guys are really playing for the year after, and then the rest of the next year's a sunk cost as far as like the Durant contract. But you do that, and that's transitioning into as far as like the Knicks go. When people said the reports came out that the Knicks didn't offer him
A max.
A max.
Yeah.
So if you're not offering, in my opinion, if you didn't offer him the max, you didn't want him. Because there were other reports that said as soon as he got the Achilles injury, like, oh, 3 teams already said they'd give him the max.
Well, and the thing too is that people need to remember is you're not allowed to go on any type of visits until the actual like free agency starts. Kevin Durant had no visits. He didn't go on a single visit here anyone's pitch. He immediately went to Brooklyn. Like that's the impressive thing. It's very rare that you see these top-notch free agents immediately sign because they take their visits. Like Kawhi, what Kawhi's doing is what normal.
They knew what they were going to do before, yeah.
Damn near every free agent did at this point, which is actually I like because it makes the dominoes fall right away. You know what's going to happen right away, and you're interested to see what goes on. But I will say that with Kyrie in that team, I don't look. I mean, everyone can say what they want, but the Eastern Conference, we have a hell of a three-point shooting team. We're third in the league three-point shooting without
which people
Kyrie
wouldn't really think of.
Exactly.
You don't think of the Nets as like a three-point shooting team.
And that's my biggest thing. The only reason why I kind of get annoyed when I'm watching sports media because I mean, like I said, since I've been on the show, you guys heard me talking. This would happen. And this was a big thing I was adamant on just because everyone, the Colin Cowards, the Stephen A. Smiths, they all said the Nets aren't really a big worry. It's just who, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But it's a reality now. And people are trying to like discredit what we could do with Kyrie. I think it's insane to think we won't win more than 42 games to make the Eastern Conference Finals. I get Philadelphia did get better, but we also have to rely on Ben Simmons playing better, and we have to rely on Joel Embiid being healthy in the playoffs.
Well, you can't really. What are you expecting for next year? Because next year
making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Next year?
We have great.
No way.
Wait, but tell me why? Who in the Eastern Conference is truly stopping us right now? Because
I think all four of the top 4 teams last year are still better than
Boston.
Yeah, they're still.
Because they got Kemba Walker.
Well, they also have Enes Kanter, and they got a couple.
Enes Kanter.
Both
our big men are better.
Even if Boston stays the same, Boston would have to get worse, and you would have to get better. I just feel like those top 4 teams are still better than the Nets. I mean,
and Indiana was actually part of the top 4 teams.
I'm not saying that it won't work out eventually when KD comes back, but you're pretty much next year trading out D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving, which I don't think is that big of a difference, to be honest with you.
Stop. Come on, that's a huge difference. Here's my thing with D'Angelo Russell. It's a very similar to Kemba Walker. Yeah, you're the man on a team that's really not like all that great. And I don't have any knock on either of them on it, but like we talk about inflated numbers all the time. Like these guys' numbers look great on that team, but D'Angelo Russell probably won't average 20 points next year. Once Clay comes back, he probably will not be averaging that.
But so look at it this way. What did Kyrie ever do on a terrible team? When LeBron wasn't there, they were like the bottom of the barrel.
He was 3 years in the league. He was 22 when LeBron came in.
D'Angelo Russell's only like 24.
No, D'Angelo's 23, but he did go to the playoffs with the team, yes. But like I said, our team was also a lot more talented than that team was. Again, we were third in three-point shooting. We have a good young core. I think that's the one thing that's kind of like pushed aside. Like I do think that Philadelphia's got a good defensive unit, but I don't look at Enes Kanter and think, not Enes Kanter, I don't look at Al Horford and think, oh, we can't go around that. Embiid, I don't think is healthy enough to consistently be in there. He's only shown us that every year. Ben Simmons just got offered the $170 million max. Is Ben Simmons going to play better?
I mean, yeah.
Tobias Harris got $180 million, and you and I agree with Tobias.
He's good, but it's kind of like that's. I mean, I know the cap is what it is, and people are getting this kind of money, but I would rather have Jimmy Butler than Tobias Harris, to be honest with you. And as far as like the Heat, and we're going to go all over the place and back and forth and back to the Knicks.
Free agency was all over the place.
Yeah, so just to switch over to the Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris thing, it's like the Sixers didn't give Jimmy Butler the money because they wanted to give Tobias Harris that.
They gave up more for Tobias, though. They did give up a lot more.
Yeah, so the Heat wind up getting Jimmy Butler, but if you think about Jimmy Butler, and I love him as a player, but it's like how many teams can you be on that? It's the same thing for Tobias Harris, though. I mean, how can you? Everyone says you're this good, but you go to this team and you hop from team. If you're that good, how do you keep getting let go from all these teams?
I'm with you on that one.
I mean, Jimmy Butler was more of like a malcontent as far as like he hated all the millennials or whatever in Minnesota, and he hated Thibodeau when he was in Chicago. But it's always something everywhere he goes. I mean, if it doesn't work for him in Miami, that's kind of one of those things where you can say they have Pat Riley, they have Eric Spoelstra, they have like a stable organization. So if it doesn't work it kind of has to work now because he's going to be there for a while for a decent amount of money. But if he starts getting disgruntled there, you have to wonder, like, at some point it's you. Like, you're the common denominator in all this unhappiness.
And that's what I like about the Miami group. I think it's they need someone to have it. Because for the past 2 years, I think they need someone to have an identity out there. Literally since Wade has kind of fell off and left, they need someone with a new identity. And Jimmy, I think, is great for that. Yeah. Especially because he has Wade's full support, too.
Yeah,
and
Marquette guy.
Yeah, a lot of people, everyone love him. And KD, Nets will be worse while KD's out. Yeah, they'll be the first seed if KD's in. Congratulations on your comment. But
What did he say?
like that was a
what did he
stupid
say?
comment. The Nets will be worse while KD. Yeah, we're the number 1 seed when KD's in. Like, what a dumb. Like, yeah, thank you. Awesome. But anyways.
What did he say? The Nets are what?
The Nets are worse. Like yeah. Like, we're worse without KD. You know what? Like, everyone's worse. The Warriors are worse without KD. It's clear.
So going back, and we're gonna jump over, like I said, going back to.
Sorry, that comment annoyed me.
Going back to it, like you said, if you have a chance to sign Kevin Durant, you do it. As a Pistons fan, I would give him $1 billion contract for the next. I'd give him the Bobby Bonilla contract. Speaking of that whole thing, I would give him that contract to get any player like that. Like, if he's out for the next 2 years, if that means you have Kevin Durant for 2 years after that, you take it. Check your ego.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I meant then last year. Well, what do you mean? So what are we going to go worse than 42-40? Is that what you're saying?
But
is that what we're saying?
But you're saying so next year if they don't. But what about this change makes you think that they're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals next year? Because really, if you think about it, what they did is change out D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie.
Okay, here's my number one thing with the problem with people that have an issue with Kyrie. We never had an issue with Kyrie until a month ago. All right, or until like LeBron got upset with Kyrie. It's like Kyrie Irving has been a premier player for years in this league. He's going to come with something to prove. He's going to come out there ready to play. Like, this is a prove-it year for him as well.
But didn't he have that last year too?
Not really, no, because he never wanted when he demanded a trade. Boston wasn't in that list of teams that he put in a list for.
Right.
Boston came out of nowhere actually with that one and brought him in. He never said I want to go to Boston when he gave up like those 4 or 5 teams in that list right there. That was not a group right there.
Yeah. So the thing about Boston too, when you talk about this whole thing, it's kind of ironic. Kyrie coming from Boston to the Nets. Remember with the whole Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce trade when all those assets got traded to Boston? What I was talking to Stretch about last night, when what has Boston done with that? It's almost like the Nets are on the way up and the Celtics are on the way down. Everyone was, and rightfully so, everyone was calling that trade like the worst trade of all time.
Yeah, it is.
But it's kind of crazy how it's a testament to the front office of the Nets, how they were able to recover from that.
I mean, Boston did get Jason Tatum from that trade, and they did get Jaylen Brown from that trade, and they were able to trade to get Kyrie Irving from that trade. So that trade, though they didn't win a championship from it, it was a great trade for them at the end of the day. They grabbed in a lot of assets. I mean, like I said, I don't see us being worse than 42-40 with D'Angelo Russell gone and Kyrie Irving in. I mean, like I said, we're still going to add other veteran minimums in there too. There's going to be other teams that want to play with us. Like it'd be shocking to sit here and be like, yeah, no one else would want to play Brooklyn. Now, people see that Brooklyn is the place to go to. They've been talking about Brooklyn for 2 years it's been a free agent theme where people talk about it.
Yeah, that was my thing about the Knicks not offering Kevin Durant the max. Like, not only are you're when you think about it, you're getting Kevin Durant, but you're also getting people who want to play with Kevin Durant. So you're not just signing Durant. You're signing attractability as far as your destination is. Like, people are going to want to go play there because you have Kevin Durant. So you're trying to save money and get Taj Gibson and Bobby Portis?
Yes, yeah.
So if you're not going to give Kevin Durant the max, you know you're not going to get him. You're not going to get him. Who else are you going after?
That was because the next free agency class is not good, and it's not until the season after where Paul George has a player option.
With Giannis too. I don't think he's going.
I don't think Giannis is leaving. I think Paul George may leave with that player option if Oklahoma City doesn't take the next step next year.
A lot can change in 2 years, but I feel like Giannis is one of those kind of guys who's just going to stay in one place for his whole career.
I mean, just especially when you have $200+ million coming your way, I think it's going to be really hard to say no to Milwaukee.
It's another thing, yeah. It's crazy that the league tries to incentivize for these small market teams to keep their superstars, and players are just turning down an extra year with an extra $50 million like it's nothing.
I mean,
like that's how much it means to them to play where they want to play with who they want to play. They're turning these teams where these guys are leaving can offer them an extra year, and it's like $50 million more, and they're just turning it down like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean
like, who do you see? I mean, you don't see anybody staying if they don't want to stay. The money is not what these guys are like thinking about for the most part.
KD can win with Westbrook. Not a lot of people can win with Westbrook.
Well, I mean, the time that he's talking about is.
Yes, but they were down when they were up 3-1, and it was all lost out.
Well, no, that too, but also when they were really young, when Harden was on that team too.
But that was
every team has to like. It's like how I think the Bucks might win the championship next year. Every team has a really good team, like how the Oklahoma City had.
But Harden was so bad that series, though.
But so this is what my point is. You have that team, and it looks like you're good enough. You have to lose and learn how to lose, that whole like cliche thing, and then you come back and you wind up winning. Like most teams don't just.
No,
Michael
yes,
Jordan.
exactly.
People like to love to say Michael Jordan. Oh, he won every finals he was in. There was a lot of times when he didn't make the finals.
Well, yeah,
and it took him a long time to get over the hump. Once he got there, I mean, we know what happened after that.
Well, you heard Kenny Jett said it when he was talking to Shaq, and they were talking about losing brings in the best experience. Like that brings in their best experience right there. Because he said once Shaq lost, Dominique and him couldn't beat that new Shaq in LA. He says because he had already experienced the losing, and now he's hungry to win. Like you have to experience losing.
Yeah.
I think it was big for Milwaukee to experience that. My thing with Milwaukee though is they struggle with teams that can shoot really well.
They also lost Brogdon, which is actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing on that one.
They kind of where I wrote it down. Where did he go anyway? They took the money. It
Didn't
seems
go the
like
Pacers?
So the Pacers will be decent too.
And they were a 4 seed last
If
year too.
Oladipo comes back, so it looks like the Bucks kind of took that money and gave it to Middleton, and they couldn't afford Brogdon as well. I mean, go out, get your money, do whatever you got to do to get your money, but that's a big loss.
I mean, I still, like I said, when you look at, and the reason why I think, and it's in Eastern Conference Finals comes in, because like I said, when you have, I think Kyrie Irving's in a big prove it. We have a lot of depth on our team. That's one thing that Toronto had that a lot of people didn't give them credit for was the amount of depth they had on their team. You need depth to beat these teams. If DeAndre Jordan starts, Jared Allen's coming after, or vice versa.
Right.
If Karis LeVert starts, then we'll have Dinwiddie come in, or vice versa. Like there's a lot of solid team, a lot of players on that team.
How is it possible that DeAndre Jordan is still getting these contracts though? Like, I mean, he's a decent player, but
4-year 40 isn't crazy.
But Kevin Durant and Kyrie gave up money so that he could get that money. Like, he must be the best friend in the world.
Well, I mean, it's a defense. I mean, let's be honest. It's a defensive presence. I mean, you can have one 7-footer interchange with another 7-footer. That's a big thing. I mean, there's times where there could be 3 7-footers on that court with once Durant comes back.
Right.
When you could have Jarrett, him, and Kevin Durant all on the court, it's 3 7-footers.
Yeah, and it's not the traditional 7-footers where they just stand in the paint. Also.
No, LeBron, Steph, or Clay in Brooklyn. That's how I feel. I'm fine without Steph.
Speaking of. 7-footers, the Heat got out from under the Whiteside contract.
That was amazing, man.
I couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable.
They had to give up a first-round pick to do it.
How
but I mean,
stupid is Portland,
yeah,
dude?
Well,
he's not good.
We were talking about this. Why do you think they did it? I said I thought they did it because if you're planning on playing against Anthony Davis in the playoffs, you needed another 7-footer on the court. And they lost Enes Kanter, but it doesn't really make sense, does it? Like, I mean, they got a first-round pick, but it's going to be the Heat's first-round pick, which is going to be middle of the first round. Which, whatever.
Which, I mean, is... my whole thing, I mean, Pat Riley, I think, really was the MVP of free agency because Miami has 0 cap and still find out to make moves. And he's going after Bradley Beal right now, too, which I don't think will happen. But I think he's going to make a strong push to try to make something happen. And if they can get rid of Dragic's contract, that'd be big for them, too.
No, I think Dragic is a part of the Jimmy Butler thing.
No, I thought, no, it was Olenek that's now part of it.
Oh, I thought
Dragic, I think, still on the team.
I thought they originally had it where Dallas was going to take Dragic.
That's what I thought as well, but I think Dragic is no longer in that. I think Olenek is now in the deal.
Oh, well, I can't believe they got out from underneath that contract. So, I mean, they also are freeing up space, it seems like, to have somebody paired with Jimmy Butler. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, it's just good to get that contract off your books because that was a terrible contract.
If they could, you know what I think, and like I said, my Jimmy, man, it's gonna be very. I would not be shocked to see Pat Riley somehow pull off a move to go after Kawhi. I think Kawhi's gonna be a Laker, no doubt about it at this point.
Wait, you said you wouldn't be surprised for Pat Riley to go after Kawhi?
Because Pat Riley's just so good at free agency, man. He's such a great GM.
That would be like unprecedented though.
Remember
nobody reporting it though.
But that was the same way when LeBron in those final 4 days of the decision, Miami wasn't on that radar, and then Miami jumped into the radar.
But he's not even taking meetings with Miami, is he? The only reported meetings.
He's only going to LA and both LAs,
right.
But you never know what could open up. I'm not saying something that's going to happen, but it's something that could happen. You know, I do think Kawhi's going to be a Laker, no doubt about it, and that will be the best team in basketball.
That would be
point.
insane. I'm kind of rooting for it. As far as like the Pistons aren't going to win, so I don't really have a horse in the race. So I'd rather just see awesome basketball.
Well, hopefully they can find a bench because if not, Rich Paul's going to be the 6th man, and that team's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but
the bench is horrendous.
But those 4 guys as your top 4, you don't even need a bench.
Yes, you do.
The Warriors were playing like 7 guys in the playoffs, and the only reason they lost is because 2 of the top 3 or 4 guys got hurt.
But you have to have a bench to win in the playoffs. You just have to.
It also, I would say you need a bench more as far as the regular season goes because you can't have LeBron logging those kind of minutes.
Yes, that's the thing.
You can't have him logging those kind of minutes.
And Kawhi's going to be out too because he's going to be on a minute load as well. He's going to be on a watch on that.
Right.
And they're probably going to be on a minute watch with Anthony Davis as well, just to make sure nothing happens with him. Like,
it would be, as awesome as those guys are, they all do have injury history.
Yes.
LeBron, not so much last year, but I mean, he is getting old. Eventually,
he's just his wear and tear on the body.
Once you start breaking down, I think he's one of only like 4 guys to play over like 56,000 minutes or something like that.
And I mean, that's kind of the big thing. Like I said, the one thing I will say that it worries me with Durant and Kyrie, the one thing that I'm happy we're not the Knicks, so we won't get that immediate. Like coverage because the Knicks doing what they're doing, they're still going to get their bad media.
Well, KD not playing is also going to hurt the shine a little bit.
Yeah.
If he would have been healthy, it would have been a lot more buzz.
For our guys, there are two head cases with injury issues. But the one thing that I do like is they're two I'm going to prove you wrong guys, as in they listen to the league and they care about what people say.
Yeah, we know Durant does, with the fake accounts.
I'm never against that with players because Michael Jordan cared about what people said when they said he wasn't a good defensive player. I mean, he took it to heart when people said that.
Yeah, he punched Steve Kerr in the face.
LeBron James took it to heart when he was told he couldn't do something. I mean, these guys do listen to what the league says. I do think that it's an upcoming bright future in the East. Like I said, once Kevin Durant comes back, I mean, it's the number 1 seed in the East.
That whole thing you say about like them caring about what people think, I think the biggest case for that next year is going to be LeBron. Would you be shocked if LeBron won MVP next year? I mean, maybe not just because of the whole minutes.
He's got to
thing.
do less for that team to win. I mean, if they get Kawhi, he's not.
And he doesn't really care about that kind of thing at this point. It's just championships. But I mean, in the sense that, like, okay, everyone's saying I didn't make the playoffs. Everyone's saying I'm on the decline, this and that. I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a top 5 MVP candidate type season next year. The only thing holding him back would be the minutes and all that.
I think Paul George is. I mean, if I'm picking MVP for next season, I'm going hard on Paul George. I think Paul George feels like he should have won it this. Well, I mean, when you look at Paul George's season, like he had a strong argument. Like, I mean, he's averaging 28, damn near 29, and finishing in top and defensive player of the year. Like, he had a very, very strong argument on that.
I still would go with Giannis, I think.
I mean, I don't believe in back-to-back MVP since we don't really get them anymore. I mean, James Harden was a better player for his team than Giannis was, in all reality. Like, Giannis had a decent team. Like, James Harden really, really pushed for that team to be, like, somewhat good. Like, James Harden was going on scoring runs that if it wasn't for him, they're losing these games.
Right.
And it's nothing, and I'm not taking anything away from Giannis' season. Giannis he averaged like 29 and 13. It was a great season by all means. But it was just like the ability that he had, what Harden did for his team was just, I mean, on those runs where it was literally solely based off him. It reminded me of 05-06 with Kobe.
And you say that in a positive way. I think about it more in the sense of like usage rate and back to that era of basketball where it's like you're going to get and Harden is a little bit more efficient with the free throws and everything, but it's like, okay, you're the only one handling the ball and everyone else is just standing on the side. And I mean, look at Chris Paul. Doesn't even want to play with him anymore. None of these guys want to play with him.
Let's not defend Chris Paul. Nobody wants to play with Chris Paul. Every 2 years, somebody has a problem with Chris Paul.
I mean,
every team has a problem. Like, every players in the league, outside of LeBron and like Carmelo and someone else, has a problem with Chris Paul. Chris Paul's not a well-liked guy in the league either. Like, he's had his issues with guys all over. Every time he leaves the teams, there's always bad blood.
Yeah,
Houston's
but
no different.
How many times do people leave a team and it's like an amicable divorce as far as like the teams go? It's never you never leave a team because you're happy with the team.
I'm just saying, you could see guys leave and there are guys that legit want to fight Chris Paul the next time they see him. That's the big difference that I'm going on. I mean, Blake Griffin never wants to fight. Austin Rivers never wants to fight. All of a sudden, those two want to fight Chris Paul right when he steps on the court because they just don't have to deal with this stuff anymore. And now that he's running their mouth and wearing a different jersey, it's a different picture, you know?
Fair enough.
I like Chris Paul. I do. The one thing I'll knock on him is he does not have one memorable moment in NBA history outside of sitting out games.
You know, I'm one of the guys that thinks Chris Paul is one of the best point guards of all time. But it is hard. When you say that, the argument like that, it is hard. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. When you're the kind of guy who's a facilitator, not like a scoring point guard, it's hard to have that kind of moment. All I can say is, I mean, just look at his stats and look what he's done for. Look at the Clippers and look when he's been on the Rockets. I mean, they had a chance to beat the Warriors.
And it kind of sucks for him in his history because it's not like he just like was horrible in this game. Just no, he was just unhealthy and couldn't play him. I personally thought he should have played in Game 7 against the Warriors because, well, it's your closest shot, dude. Like, sorry, like I get it, like you're hurt. But you know, you're gonna play hurt in some of those games. Everyone's hurting. Like a hamstring injury, I thought he could at least play the second half. That's just my personal opinion on it.
Chase actually had a good pick as far as MVP goes. Steph Curry, I don't think that's a terrible pick if you can get some good odds on that. What else is he going to do this year? I mean, well, whether or not you think D'Angelo Russell might get traded, but look at Steph Curry's usage rate's going to go up. No Durant and no Klay Thompson. You're pretty much losing out on like 50 or 60 points a night there. And all those touches. I mean, he's going to put up some numbers this year if he wants to.
Even if he averages 35, his defense is horrible. He's not a distributor. He doesn't rebound. So then, like,
I mean, Harden won the MVP without playing defense, though. The MVP is not about defense.
But I'm talking about this past season. Harden averaged 35. So even
his defense was still terrible.
No, but that's my whole point coming in. There's not a plus rate on him. When you're looking at these, like Paul George will be a better contender than him next year, the MVP, because Paul George brings it on both sides of the court, and it's going to be hard to ignore if he does it a second year in a row. Kawhi Leonard will still have his shot at the MVP, regardless of where he's on usage rate that team, because his defense is still. Giannis is still going to be on there. I mean, you have a. I don't think Steph Curry's a bad choice.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I just think that
as far as usage, you need a certain usage rate to win MVP.
For him to be strictly a scorer, I don't think it's going to happen if it didn't work for James Harden this year.
I could just see him averaging like 8 or 9 threes a game.
But Steph's a great. I mean, I would put Steph in a top. Like if it was a top 5 odds, Steph should be in the top 5 of odds. Definitely.
So
I don't
we're just like splitting hairs there.
Yeah, it's just like.
And then you were talking about Kawhi. That's one thing we haven't really talked about as far as like the main guy who hasn't gone anywhere. And a couple of things on that. I was saying, and it's like, oh, this is the normal thing. They all take their meetings and they don't decide right away. The normal thing is not to decide right away. It's actually kind of smart for Kawhi. The only thing is the team that you're going to pick doesn't know you're coming there yet. But it also screws over the 2 other contenders that you might have gone to.
Yeah, I'm not big on it just because you don't know. Like you're saying, the Lakers are kind of like, okay, who we because
two of the teams that have max slots are not going to have max players with max money.
They can't sign a bunch of people and then go sign him. Like you kind of need to sign Kawhi and build on from there. And
which is smart. I mean, if you have a 33% chance at Kawhi, you wait.
Yeah, no, by all means, especially with everybody jumping off the board as quickly as possible. I mean, we haven't seen it. I haven't seen a free agency like where top names jump off this quickly.
Yeah.
Like every top name was signed before 6 o'clock.
We knew where everybody was going.
Yeah,
basically.
like
there wasn't really that many surprises.
Kemba was known a day before. Clay was known a day before. You know, KD and Kyrie was known about like a month before. KD was known as like.
That was. We're going off the Kawhi thing for a second, but that was smart for the Warriors just to max out or to give Clay the contract. Like, if you're going to give any guy.
It's a ACL, that's it.
It's not what it used to be. Like that's like an 8-month injury now.
Not even, dude. Not like, and that's.
He'll be back for the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll be back after the All-Star break, I think.
Yeah, I would just recommend he get his own doctors and not trust the Warriors.
Well,
doctors.
that's actually a big thing. Kawhi Leonard in his negotiations, he wants to have his own. He wants to have his own type of doctors with him.
So we were Stretch and I were talking about that last night too. Is how come these guys don't have their own doctors? And I think I haven't looked it up, but is it because teams stipulate that you're not allowed to have your own doctors?
Can't do this right now. Westbrook is too good.
He's saying that he has too good of a teammate that they're going to split the vote.
Paul George finished like second and third in MVP racing this year.
Yeah, I mean you can have.
There was parts in the year where people were saying Paul George could lead the Thunder to a championship.
It is. I see what he's saying. It's not a well-made point, but in the fact that they'll split votes, like
they will. Yeah,
when KD and Steph,
he will take votes from him.
With KD and Steph, neither one of them would win MVP because they're both on the same team.
Yes,
that whole thing. I see what he's saying, but Paul George was in the conversation.
Yeah,
he was in the top 5.
He was a strong conversation guy. I'm not trying to be on the Paul George train, but I just, like I said, the year he had, if he's to repeat that year, it's hard for me to think that he won't get into the conversation again. I mean, that's like I said, Kawhi was in the conversation for years because of his two-way playing.
So Kawhi, everyone's talking about basically the 3 teams, which is, are the Lakers the favorite right now?
Yeah, I think the Lakers are.
If you don't know, the 3 teams, obviously, you might go back to Toronto, maybe the Clippers, and then now people are saying the Lakers. Like I was hearing today, the Lakers are the favorite. Which I wasn't even hearing anything about the Lakers until yesterday.
I mean, the Lakers should have. Here's my thing with the Lakers. It shouldn't be a shocker that you're a favorite, considering the fact the franchise you are.
Well, it's the Knicks-Nets thing.
Yeah, it's similar to that. But the thing that helps the Lakers is
the Lakers actually win sometimes.
Well, you can deal with the Lakers BS in the front office because you have LeBron and Anthony Davis there now, versus having to go deal with the BS with the Knicks when you have Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith, and
Bobby Portis. They have some good names. They have some names that you wouldn't think were NBA players, but Kevin Knox, Bobby Portis, Sounds like a softball, a beer league softball team.
Here's my thing. If you're
Hey,
not
Bobby
give,
Portis, he's playing third base.
If you're not going to give Durant the money, why not give anyone else the money, though, is my thing. Like, Tobias is from, like, the city of Brooklyn. Why not talk to him? Why not talk to Jimmy?
Why would you?
Why not talk to, guys?
Why would you admit that you weren't going to
Julius
give
Randle it was what's his face? Stephen A. got mad. He's like, Julius Randle signed the first day. I'm not mad about it, but don't tell me this.
Why would you admit that you weren't going to give Durant the max? Say that you offered him $1 billion. It doesn't matter. It's pretend money.
I would have denied the hell out of the story, even if I flat out
No,
told
they
him
came
to
out
his
and
face.
said it. They didn't.
No, I would have, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Kevin was here and I told him I'm not giving you the max, I would have told the camera the very next minute, no, he just didn't want to play with us.
Yeah,
just
it
to help
doesn't make
myself.
sense. Like, why would you admit that you did a stupid thing?
I think there's a debt owed between the owners, so the Knicks just helped them. But according to some of the guys, the Knicks are never truly in the running with it. A lot of people put the Knicks on there because they're franchise name, but there's a lot of, like, DeAndre Jordan. A lot of people brought up the story that DeAndre hated the Knicks and the way they treated him and the way it was. The Knicks, like, DeAndre and Kevin Durant are like best friends. That was a big, when they came out with the trio with going after DeAndre Jordan. It's about 3 days before free agency started that DeAndre Jordan was big on the Nets' radar so they could try to get Durant. That's why I was really big on. We got to sign Kyrie, whether you like him or not, because it brings people over.
Right.
Clearly, it brings people over.
Same thing with the Durant thing.
Exactly.
You're not just signing Durant. You're signing the ability to get other people.
D'Angelo Russell may be the better guy to go with because he's about 4 years younger and he has a high ceiling. But at the same time, who's come out to say, besides Devin Booker, who wants to play D'Angelo Russell?
I think that's he doesn't have that kind of cachet.
Yeah, that's the big difference maker, I feel like.
I think that's kind of what the Heat are doing with the whole Jimmy Butler thing. It's not Jimmy Butler is going to be like the end result. He's the first piece to building a team that people want to play on.
Yeah.
You have to have at least a Jimmy Butler, and then you go from there.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
But then back to the whole Kawhi thing, we were also talking about this last night, and it's not on the radar. You were saying, what if he went to the Heat as far as Pat Riley? What if he went to the Knicks?
I would be very shocked. I wouldn't know what to say.
That would be a complete 360? No, 180. Maybe a complete 180 for
Maybe complete something, dude, because that would make no sense.
That would be a complete mind fuck as far as everybody's making fun of the Knicks and then we got Kawhi.
Well, it's like I feel like he would have, and that's the thing. I feel like there was a kind of, I think Kevin Durant really wanted to go to New York somewhere somehow, and I think Kawhi just was flat out. Because when the rumors came out, those two want to play with each other. I don't think that he ever wanted to play in New York is the thing with Kawhi. I think Kawhi truly wants to be in California.
I don't think he's gonna go there. We were just saying what if.
Yes. I'm
gonna drag this piece of shit all the way to the final.
But if he did, there's a whole, then all of a sudden Kawhi's in the conversation now is wow, Kawhi won a championship with the Knicks. Can you really say there are players better than him?
What can he not do? That would immediately put him ahead of Jordan. If you win a title for the Knicks,
puts him above LeBron.
It counts as 5 titles.
It puts him above LeBron. Because that's the Spurs
6
he won
titles.
one.
In my personal record book, that's 6 titles. And it also takes one away from Jordan too, so he's already in the league. But on a more serious note, why do players not want to have that on their legacy? I went to the Knicks and I brought New York a championship. Nobody cares about that.
No, people care about.
Everyone's talking about legacy this, legacy that. KD talking about legacy. If you really care about your legacy, you would want to go to the Knicks and bring the Knicks. No offense, but if you bring the Nets a championship, who gives a shit?
A lot of people. It's a franchise that's definitely that hasn't really seen that. It's
they were
who
in
gives
New
a
Jersey
shit?
five years ago.
Who gives a flying fuck if you bring the Cavaliers a championship? They didn't even have any
because he was from there. That's the only reason.
I don't care where he's. Kyrie's from there. It's a big thing to him.
But they're the Brooklyn Nets, but they were New Jersey Nets 5 years ago.
I get that, but let's also put in perspective the fact that they've never won a championship. It's a franchise that's been a bottom tier franchise for years.
But you can't argue with me on the fact that it's more it would be more of a legacy thing if you brought the Knicks a championship than the Nets a championship.
I can argue with you that we've been more relevant than the Knicks have been in the past 20 years.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying just the gravitas of bringing the Knicks a championship.
I get
it's
what
more
you're
than
saying
bringing
on
the
that,
Nets a
and I
championship.
do get what you're saying on that, but I don't see much difference on it considering the fact we're no longer New Jersey. Us being Brooklyn now does make us closer to being more of a basketball city than versus being in Newark. We're in Newark, yeah, you're right. You go to Newark, you win a championship, that's cool, but who cares? But if you go to Brooklyn, you still have the New York factor to it.
I'm not saying anything against the Nets or anything. I'm just saying as far as a storied franchise, whether they suck or not, whether it's a hype machine or not that doesn't deserve hype, but if you win a championship for the Knicks, it's different than winning it for the Nets.
Yes. Yeah, no, and I think
it's like winning it for the Clippers instead of the Lakers. That's the good comparison. It's The Nets are.
That's a tough comparison, just because the Lakers have that like.
The Lakers are actually good.
That championship pedigree on them. It's only, but I mean, I see where you're coming on them because it is the little brother like team, of course.
Yeah.
But like, I just think that for legacy purposes, I see the legacy being very,
bring a
very
championship
similar.
to the Heat instead of the Magic.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Okay. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes. I can go with that one definitely.
Yeah.
I can go with that one.
So just nothing against the Nets. I'm just saying like if you
see
care about your legacy that much, you would think that like not even KD, but none of these guys want to be the one that brings a championship to the Knicks.
Like I said before, I mean, these guys don't care about big markets anymore. It's been proven with Russell Westbrook going to Oklahoma City that you can be one of the biggest faces in the NBA playing for a small market.
Yeah, especially with the way that media is now and all that kind of stuff.
Nobody, out of Milwaukee, that's a small market.
And people also leaving these small market teams to not go to big markets, but they just want to play with who they want to play with, where they want to play.
And I do think that, Kevin Durant and Kellerman said, I'm not a big fan of Kellerman, but I did agree with the fact that he said it that winning in Brooklyn speaks a lot to Durant because Durant knows, okay, this franchise has literally been a bottom-tier franchise for years. They haven't done much. Him bringing Brooklyn a championship, him bringing the state of New York a championship alone is huge for the whole state in general in basketball. I think it makes his legacy huge if he wins. I personally think they will win 2 of the next 4 with Durant healthy over there.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, 2 of the next 4 what?
Championships. Yeah. Why are you guys looking at Kevin Durant like he isn't like amazing?
Okay, it's not that
he is literally the best player in basketball. The best.
With a torn Achilles.
He's a 7-footer that can shoot from anywhere. It's not like it's Cousins hurting his Achilles where you got to worry about his mobility because that's what he does, he's an inside guy.
Well, but you do have to worry about his mobility because he can come back and just stand. We saw it in the finals when he came back and he was dominating like the first quarter. But the thing that makes him so different is that he can drive and he has mobility and he's not just a spot-up shooter. And he's not just a 7-footer who sits in the paint. It's everything. With the way Kevin Durant plays, and Achilles is like a real concern. You can't tell me that you're not a little bit concerned that you're going to get a guy that comes back and it's not.
I'm 90%, I'm 95% sure he'll win the MVP the next year he comes back just because, like I said, I truly believe.
Not this year, but next year.
Yeah. Because he'll have 16 months of rehab.
He's guaranteed.
That's double the actual estimated time.
Guaranteed not to play for at least next season. So 365 days would be to the finals next year. And then you add on 4 months after that?
Yes, that's double the time that an estimated time of an Achilles typically takes. Like Kobe Bryant took 8 months. That's double the time in 16 months.
The thing that could work to your point as far as kind of assuaging your worries a little bit and not being as worried is look what Boogie Cousins did. He's heavier when he came back, and he doesn't look the same, but he looks pretty good. And the same thing for Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, but neither of those guys with the caliber, put both their talent together.
Coming back from injuries, though.
Yeah, I mean, but Boogie was also known for not being a conditioning.
Boogie
was known for not being a good conditioned guy either, though.
Fair, yeah.
He was always questioned for his conditioning and his work ethic.
I trust Kevin Durant coming back from an Achilles more than I trust John Wall.
It's just, it's just the mindset that he already has for going to Brooklyn. He proved his mindset. He must prove people wrong going to Brooklyn as it is. So if people think it's just going to Brooklyn kind of half-ass it, not a shot in hell. Just not a shot. I mean, it's just not. He's really going to go in there, and I think he's in a different mindset. I mean, I understand people look at two of the, if KD was healthy right now, barring injury, people would immediately put us as the favorite unless Kawhi went there. Then it'd be a Nets-Lakers series for the next 4 years.
I'm just saying you have to be at least a little bit. I understand your optimism, but you at least have to be a little bit concerned about coming back from an Achilles injury.
I believe in pro sports medical, man, to be honest. If he was 35, or if he was like Kobe's age turning his Achilles,
which is fair.
I would be off on it.
He's 30. He's 30. Okay, that's not. Yeah, that's.
I just, like I said, 16 months he'll have to get better. He's still young enough to be like. It's just work. It's going to work out in his favor. We're going to not have to rush him back.
But to say they're going to win 2 out of the next 4 championships with all these other teams, it's more wide open than it's ever been. It's not like KD. Healthy, younger, 4 years ago, going to the Warriors, who already were in the finals. I mean, it's not a guarantee. Set your sights high, but to say that you're going to be without Kevin Durant next year in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't understand that part as far as what's the big leap.
Well, it's like I said,
Kyrie is not that much better than D'Angelo Russell.
That's my crazy thing. When you when you look at Kyrie, and like I've said this before, experience is everything. They now have a leader with experience. D'Angelo Russell has no experience. His most experience was Magic Johnson telling him that he wasn't going to be a leader. That's what made him a leader. I mean, Kyrie going out there to prove people, like Kyrie is going to go out there and play a great game still. Kyrie was great in the first playoff series. Everyone forgets that. He was a god for Boston the first playoff series. Second playoff series, he had a bad playoff series, and everyone hated him.
But he's not going to be the best player on an Eastern Conference Finals team.
This year?
What you're saying for the Nets, yeah.
Well, for this year, he would be the best one on the Nets.
So no, I'm saying you're saying the Net. I'm saying I don't think he can be the best player on an Eastern Conference Finals team. What was it last year? It was Raptors and God, it was like a month ago, and I already forgot. It was Raptors and Sixers. So, is he better than Embiid? Is he better than? He's better than Simmons. Is he better than? I mean, I don't know.
Don't say I don't know what Tobias Harris, please, for the love of God.
No, but
Stop. Come on, Tobias Harris and Kyrie Irving?
No. Kyrie's better.
Okay.
I'm just thinking out loud as far as like, is he able to be the? But the 76ers are different because they had such a spread out group of talent. Like Kyrie to be the best player on the Nets next year in Eastern Conference Finals, who's the second best player?
Arguably, it's probably going to be.
Not as good as the 76ers' second, third, and fourth best player.
My big thing on 76ers is they struggle to shoot the ball.
Yeah, and they haven't really done anything in free agency to get better
No, it's
at
like,
that.
and everyone's talking about old boy from Miami, which I get he's a pretty ad. But
Richardson?
Yeah, let's stop.
He's a good shooter.
Let's stop pretending he's a different, like a huge, like they didn't replace Jimmy Butler.
No,
they did not.
If he's your sixth or seventh best player,
yes,
he's good.
Yes,
which he is going to be on that team. When he was closing games for the Heat, not very good.
But like I agree that my big thing is like everyone's talking about like Milwaukee. Yes, but Milwaukee again, we're gonna have a lot of guys shooting. We're gonna have multiple 7-footers who are also defensive dominant 7-footers too. So and I believe Jared Allen with another year of experience and is coming to his third year. It's typically supposed to be your make or break year coming in the NBA. It's your third or fourth year.
I think it died.
I'm big on seeing what Jared Allen can do, and also he's going to have DeAndre Jordan helping him out. And DeAndre Jordan for years showed he's a defensive dominant player. And then like I said, the amount of guys shooting around him. I understand the Eastern Conference Finals sounds crazy. I don't think it sounds crazy if Kyrie comes out like he's supposed to. Kyrie, like I said, everyone has this horrible image that Boston painted. But like I said, you can believe the image Boston painted, but how many superstars come out every year and say, I don't want to play for Boston?
Well, the AD thing, and then the thing that happened with Al Horford is kind of weird as far as like, okay.
Dude, Al Horford got paid.
I think Boston thought that Al Horford wasn't going to have a market, and they tried to say, okay, you opt out, and then we'll pay you this.
Man, yeah.
And I think they thought they were getting one over on him when he opted out, and they wound up not paying him. And then he went to the 76ers, and he got
109,
4 years for 109. Which, I mean, you're pretty much paying if you're the Sixers for the first 2 years, because, I mean, he's getting up there. But as far as defense goes and everything like that, now you have Horford, you have Embiid, Simmons. They lost JJ Redick, but that team is going to be good.
That's the thing. They lost shooters. They lost a defensive dominant player in Jimmy Butler, a great two-way player.
But you can find shooters on the buyout market, though. There's always those guys that are on the buyout market that just shoot threes. Danny Green is still out there.
I agree with that, but like I said, it's going to take time for that buyout market to also water out, because that buyout market, I think a lot of those guys will go to Lakers, and I think some of those guys will also go to Brooklyn as well. I think the Lakers and Brooklyn Brooklyn not this year obviously, but like next upcoming years, it's going to be a Brooklyn and LA finals. Those two are really going to battle out. Everyone can talk what they want about Milwaukee, but again though, Milwaukee struggled against Toronto last year, and I get that Toronto's a very good team, but like I said, they had depth on top of depth in Toronto, and that's the way you beat Milwaukee. Milwaukee's losing players too. Yeah, they're gaining a couple players here and there, but they're not like they didn't. Philly did more in free agency than they did.
I just feel like, they lost and they didn't really gain yet.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the top four just shifted around, though. I don't feel like Brooklyn came up this much with switching out Kyrie for D'Angelo Russell.
We will win more than 42 games with Kyrie instead of Russell. We will win.
But 42 games is not like an impressive mark.
That's my number one thing. A lot of people say we were
if you win 45 games, you're going to be like the 7th seed. A 7 seed is not making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Not in the East. Not in the East. 45 is going to get you a
500 is like an 8 seed.
But I'm just talking about in the East. Like we won 42 and we were 6 last year. So and I think a 46 was the 5 last year with Boston, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 47.
Yeah, but then, I don't know.
I mean, it's just, you could win those kind of games to get in there. It's like, I mean, if you look at Boston, is Boston going to be right away great? Because everyone, I mean, they still going to have mouths to feed on that team. Is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
I think they're going to be better off without Kyrie, to be honest with you.
I think so too, because
I really like Kemba Walker. I was surprised, actually. We were talking last night how old he is. He was actually
28?
older than Kyrie.
Yeah. Also helps that Brad Stevens, he's known for dealing, like, Rozier's a better fit for Stevens because Stevens has never dealt with an established point guard like that.
Rozier's not there anymore.
No, he's in Charlotte.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm just saying, like, when Kyrie was there, Brad Stevens is known for being, like, making point guards better. It's not that you make Kyrie better. It's just you have to put your full trust into Kyrie. But then you have the love of Gordon Hayward that he was pushing on there. A lot of the stories that were coming out on Kyrie, and then all of a sudden the stories come out about Boston. I said, Kyrie didn't want to sign balls. Okay, he didn't want to sign balls. Are we going to hate the guy forever for it? I get that you don't like it as a sign for charity, but get over
There's going to be a book written somewhere by Bill Simmons
Nobody
about,
wants
like,
to
the
talk
last
about-
Boston season.
Nobody wants to talk about all the young guys coming in the next game hungover from partying in Miami, and then him getting pissed off about it.
Is that a thing that happened?
Yeah. Nobody wants to talk about how pissed off Kyrie was that they lost to Orlando.
Kyrie's not considered a young guy.
Yeah, he was pissed off everyone for losing to Orlando because they weren't prepared. It's Orlando. Like, how do you lose to Orlando? I'm sorry, Orlando Magic fans, but your team's not good. How do you lose to them as a Boston Celtics team?
They beat the Raptors one game.
But I'm just talking about as the Boston Celtics team. Like, that Boston Celtics team should beat Orlando. They're just more talented.
Yeah.
Like, Jason Tatum's the best player on that team.
So I think the last main thing as far as free agency goes is where's Kawhi going to go? What if he's
Lakers?
You really think so?
Oh man, I thought if it's not
how
the
did
Lakers,
the Lakers jump ahead of the Clippers?
because there's the Clippers weren't able to sign anybody else. I think is what really killed it.
Who cares? They beat the Warriors 2 games last year when they were fully healthy.
And I agree with you on that one, but I really thought of Jimmy Butler.
I want him to go to
and
the
Kawhi
Knicks
Leonard.
so bad.
Really?
Yes, I want him to go to the. It would just be so funny and just so, like, poetic justice.
I
like,
would too. I would love to see Kevin.
Oh,
Durant bottom out.
we didn't get an injured KD and a Kyrie. Oh, we got Kawhi Leonard.
It would be awesome for that, but you know what? If I do think if it's anyone but the Lakers, it's going to shock me. Even if he went to Toronto, it would shock the hell out of me.
It wouldn't shock me. I mean, you can't be shocked by any of the 3 teams that are reported. These people are, like, professionals. They have, like, sources.
It's not that I'm shocked by, like, those 3 teams, but, like, you have to put multiple teams out there for source reason, because you're going to hear other teams. But
what if he went to the Pistons for whatever reason?
Christ, dude.
We
But
were
when
talking about this last night. What hope does these small market teams have, like the Pistons or
Derrick
like
Rose.
the Grizzlies? Well, yeah, Derrick Rose, of course. He's going to win MVP
MVP
next
Derrick
year.
Rose comes back, and you guys make the second seed.
We have Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin, a really good team. Like
Sweep the Nets.
A really good team like 8 years ago. We're the new Knicks. We're signing just all these guys.
Instead of Amari Stoudemire, it's Andre Drummond.
Oh my God, yeah.
I love
Great,
it.
we have the best rebounding center in the league when rebounds don't mean shit anymore.
Every year he leads.
I don't care about you if you get 20 and 20.
Dude,
It doesn't
that's the
mean
thing, like-
you get 20 and 20 and we lose by 6.
When you look at his career numbers, and my buddy and I were actually talking about this. His career numbers outside of his rookie year, he's never averaged less than 13 and 13.
No.
But you would look at a career and be like, wow, it's a great career.
Yeah,
But Andre Drummond gets no love for that
in the
whatsoever.
90s.
Yes.
People don't even know who he is.
But like Andre Drummond, when you look at his career, if you were to take out like his rookie year, where he was like obviously wasn't as great as all the other.
Big apple pie. the whole Kawhi story with the apple ties, Big apple tie. That was good, Stretch. That was good.
I forgot all about that.
Did you come up with that yourself? Yes. Oh my God. That was really good.
I could see Eli Manning
Print
and
the
Kawhi Leonard
shirts.
hanging out though. I could see those two kicking it.
Oh my God. That's
I really
funny.
could. Those two hanging out would be a pair.
Did you hear the story about like the whole Kawhi apple tie?
Yes. That's
Big apple
time. I'm thinking about it right now. I mean, I don't know. Like, Kawhi not going to the Lakers, I think, is going to be insane. If he went to the Clippers, I think it makes basketball even better.
I don't understand how it was the Clippers, and all of a sudden now it's like, oh, it's the Lakers. Like,
Clippers
did he
missed
forget the
everyone,
Lakers
man.
were a team?
I just think the Clippers missed out on everyone. He wanted to see what the Lakers would do. The Lakers did trade for Anthony Davis and made a big push, and they didn't get D'Angelo Russell. They didn't get Klay Thompson. They didn't get Jimmy Butler. So now they didn't get Kemba. So now it's like, okay, the Lakers in their mind, they have to get one more guy.
But
which I don't think they need to, but they need.
Wherever Kawhi goes, that's going to be the favorite. If he stays in Toronto, they're the favorite. If he goes to the Lakers, they're the favorite. If he goes to the Clippers, they're the favorite.
If he goes
Why are the Lakers the favorite with just Anthony Davis and LeBron James and nobody else on the roster?
Because it's before free and stuff. I mean, it's the. I don't always believe in
it's the Red Sox Yankees thing where everyone's going to bet on them so they make the odds.
I mean,
I understand the betting.
Even the
odds,
Lakers
I think.
last year were like a top 3 favorite. I mean, just because they got LeBron only. So what do you expect me to get Anthony Davis? You move up 2 or 3 more slots.
So before knowing where Kawhi goes, who would you put as like the top 3 or 4 favorites for the championship next year? Like
next year, okay, if we're going next year, wow.
Somebody asked me, just while you think about it, somebody asked me this at work, and I still said the Warriors. I would still put the Warriors in like the top 4.
Yeah, I know. I definitely have the Warriors in the top 4 because, having a third shooter.
I still think they might trade D'Angelo Russell for whatever else.
I don't think they'll trade D'Angelo Russell. Steph Curry's 32, 31.
Yeah, but he's a young 31 though.
Yeah, we say that, but like I said, I mean, if a guy if he can't be this, like, and I'm not saying he's going to fall off.
He hasn't shown any signs of slowing down.
But, I mean, he also hasn't shown any signs of he can be the only guy to rely on. He's never showed a sign of that, actually. He's never. In the finals, there's a reason why he's never won a finals MVP. There's a reason why.
Well, that's because they give it to Iguodala because they're dumb.
Well, no, because defensively they held LeBron under 30%.
The Iguodala one should have went to him.
Why?
No
he held LeBron under 30%. Like,
you give it to the best player on the team unless somebody else makes a compelling case.
Well, Kawhi Leonard was a similar reason why he won. I mean, it wasn't like he was dropping 25 a game in that finals. He was playing unbelievable defense.
That's my case. You give it to the best player on the team unless Siakam has an incredible series.
But, like, I mean, him winning MVP was a big reason. I mean, the fact that he was able to play against LeBron, I'm not taking anything away from Steph, but like Steph also didn't have
Sounds like you are taking something away.
No, what I'm saying about Steph is you can't rely on him as a sole person. Like with Klay Thompson, they go to Game 7. When it comes to I really, truly believe they go to Game 7 with Klay.
So are you saying if Steph got hurt instead of Klay?
I think if Steph got hurt instead of Kevin Durant, they're fine. And that's my belief on that one.
Well, you're also switching out. I mean, Durant's the best player in the league if he's healthy.
Yeah, but my big thing is everyone loves Steph and this and that. My whole point is Steph can't be relied on by himself, and it's no knock on that.
It is a knock on.
No, it's not. Because it's just a fact. It's nothing but proof has been shown.
We'll see next year. We'll see.
Yeah, we will. But I do think that D'Angelo Russell going there, he's going to be there to stay. He's 23. Like they need to keep. They're big on keeping guys young and keeping guys going in that system.
They care about the core of Steph and Klay.
They do.
They showed you that by signing
Draymond's
Klay.
going to be a big question next year because he's going to want to get. If he makes an All-NBA team, he's going to have a huge contract coming up next year.
He's not going to be there. He's on his way out.
I think he is too because I don't think he's going to take a pay cut.
He has Grizzlies written all over him to me.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I could see.
This is like obviously no source.
Oh, not Grizzlies. Come on.
He's a grinder.
I could see maybe Utah.
Okay.
Utah, I could see. Is there a defensive dominant group? Maybe oh no, I don't even know about the Rockets.
He's got a 6th man in his future. He's got a Lou Williams award coming his way in the future.
I mean, I think he's going to be I think D'Angelo Russell will be the reason why that Draymond really gets told to leave next year. I think D'Angelo Russell being with that group is great for just the fact that they bring youth in with the offense that works for them, and especially for him, where now he can play because. The thing about Curry that really helps with this team is Curry's not the greatest in distributing. D'Angelo Russell can distribute the ball. You can have now Curry playing off ball as well as Klay Thompson when he comes back.
Well, Curry can easily play shooting guard if he wants
to. Yes, it's just defensively he can't defend it.
Positionless basketball and everything
exactly.
like that.
And him playing off ball
when
is
everyone's
huge.
like, oh, Chris Paul's going to Houston, how's that going to work?
Yes,
D'Antoni made it work. Steve Kerr's a good coach. He'll make it work.
I do think that it's very beneficial to have when Klay comes back, him and Curry off ball, which can make them a finals favorite. I think Milwaukee can be in there for a finals favorite.
If we're in agreement on this, that Kyrie and D'Angelo Russell, whether you think Kyrie's that much better, it's at least close.
I think it's close, but like I said,
so you're adding almost a Kyrie level player to the Warriors.
I think it's regular season, yes. Playoff time, I'm not going to speak for Russell just because of what Kyrie has done.
He hasn't been there. He hasn't
exactly.
been there, yeah.
And
Kyrie made one of the biggest shots in history.
I mean, he had a huge. I mean, the series he was averaging 29. I mean, it was that's the only reason why I'm not going to put Russell in the same conversation.
Kyrie's almost underrated at this point as far as the whole.
He's just underliked.
Well, his reputation. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, his reputation took a big hit as far as the Boston thing goes this year. But nobody who watches basketball thinks that he's not an amazing player.
No, it's that's the thing. Everyone's in a question about the stuff in Boston. Like I said, don't believe all the Boston BS because there's a lot of players every year that come in and say they don't want to play for Boston. And if it's that loud and vividly clear, why now we're nitpicking on where Boston's right,
Well, I don't think you can hold the Anthony Davis not wanting to play in Boston thing against Boston. I think he just not that it was against Boston. I think he just wanted to play in LA.
But I can with Kawhi, Kevin Durant, and Paul George.
Well, maybe they just. I mean,
Those are 4 superstars is my big thing. Like, it's not like, that's my, like, Boston used to be, like, they could grab a superstar like nobody's business. It wouldn't be hard for them to do it, you know, because they're a historic franchise, the championship pedigree. But now it's like, it's almost like they're struggling to find that now, to where they have to, why it's good they're going after the young guys and keeping their young guys in core, because they're not going to go out and get the big names anymore, I feel like. I don't feel like obviously this year
they got Gordon Hayward and they got Al Horford. Those were
Brad and Stevens had a lot to do with the Gordon Hayward one, but Gordon Hayward even then he wasn't
Al
like
Horford went there too. I mean,
but they weren't like giant superstars going there. Is my thing. Like Horford
but
wasn't as
you can only
Atlanta
go to
Horford.
one of 28 teams, 30 teams.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, they're not grabbing the diehard superstars. Something's on breaking news with ESPN right now. I don't know what the hell's. Woj is on TV. That's kind of a big one. I do like the fact that
Stretch is finding out what Woj said.
Yeah, I do like.
Looks like someone with the Rockets. Do I see a beard? I see a beard.
James Harden traded. No, I'm joking.
No.
I'm joking. False. Fake news.
What is it?
It's Leonard. Nothing.
Nothing?
He's expected to meet with the Lakers, Clippers, and
Yeah.
Kawhi?
I just think Kawhi going to Lakers is.
Kawhi just signed
Yeah.
with the Pistons.
Dude, talk about like a computer blowing up.
Would they be the? Oh, I would throw my computer across the room.
I would take them as the favorite. Yeah, I really would. Yeah, that would be a favorite group.
What team would
there.
Kawhi have to go to not be the favorite? The Knicks?
Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies.
Grizzlies, dude. Atlanta.
There's some teams that just have.
I love De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I love De'Aaron Fox. I still like Bagley.
De'Aaron Fox should have been picked as the #1 pick. But instead, they went with a guy who can't shoot the ball, and Orlando believes in a lot in him. Put it this way, Magic fans. Me believing in Kevin Durant isn't crazy. You believing in Markelle Fultz is asinine.
Yeah.
That's just, it's asinine. It's not going to happen.
To be fair, they didn't really give up that much to get him.
They didn't, but they believe he's going to come back and be good.
Speaking of the local market, if anyone from Orlando is still watching, we'll get to that. They did re-sign. They re-signed Vucevic for I think it was like $25 million a year.
I like Vuce. Some people really don't like him. I like him.
You can't build around a center.
No,
a center can't be your best player.
And I agree with that, but I do
unless
like
it's Anthony
him.
Davis.
I do like the fact that
Who doesn't think he's a center?
Orlando kept him so they can keep people on the seats. I do like that instead of just letting him go and just having whoever show up. You don't want this to be a team, because we're already kind of like that, where you don't go to watch the Magic, you go to watch who the Magic are playing. You don't want to be one of those teams.
Well, yeah, and then the thing that sucks about that is I try to go watch who the Magic are playing, but anytime they play anyone even decent, it's like the tickets are ridiculous.
Oh my God, yes.
Like
I saw the Nets for $9 last year. That's never happening again.
I mean ridiculous in the sense that it's too much. Like I went to go watch Oklahoma City against Orlando. It was like $60 tickets. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's insane. And they'll also have Memphis there the next day, and it'll be like $12.
Yeah, I don't. What am I gonna go for that for?
Oh man, even the Knicks price is up, and you're not even going there to watch anyone on the Knicks. It's just the Knicks is there, so they're gonna it's gonna cost more.
Orlando Magic, lower your prices and I'll go. I'm not paying $40 to sit in the 300 level to watch the Russell Westbrook shoot 3 of 48.
Is Ezekiel Elliott suspended? They're showing him on breaking news. See, this is my problem. People hate on Ezekiel Elliott for being a little aggressive.
Yeah, maybe at some point when you have something like this every single offseason, maybe it's you, maybe it's not the media.
You know what, man? All I gotta say is, it's okay.
When I see multiple seasons in the offseason of YouTube videos of you doing, if I see you on YouTube videos or iPhone videos.
He pushed a bullshit security guard at an EDC event. Are we really gonna make, and
he pulled a girl's top down in New Orleans.
Oh,
I'm really gonna apologize for that.
Okay, well, she definitely, the video it looked like she was
asking
upset.
for it.
Yeah, she definitely looked like she was upset. She was smiling and laughing after.
To be fair, I didn't see the video.
I did.
It just doesn't seem like something that one should do.
No, I don't. I'm not condoning his action. But if she's not even yelling or making a scene about it, like usually if you just randomly pulled out a girl's top, then she would get upset.
At some point, I just don't want to see you in the summer every time doing something. I don't even know what this is, but it doesn't look good.
You know what? Put it this way. Every team in the league.
Ezekiel Elliott wins the Community Leader Award. I don't think that's what it is. I can't read it from here, but I don't think that's
we don't look at, listen, if you're looking for a community leader, then you'd rather have Tim Tebow than Ray Lewis. I don't want to hear it. This league is not built off morals. It's not. Lawrence Taylor's the greatest defensive player ever. You think he's morally good?
No, he raped like young girls or something like that and smoked
Listen,
crack.
I'm not condoning. I'm just saying, if you're the best linebacker, people, If you're good, you have more shots in the NFL.
I'm just saying, that's what they teach at Ohio State. I mean, you never catch a Michigan guy doing this.
Stop it. Well, because you don't see a Michigan guy getting this much coverage.
No, yeah, Tom Brady's not very good.
Oh, come on. You guys hid him away. You guys hid him away. The best kept secret.
I thought I would sneak it by you.
The best kept secret.
As a Michigan fan, I'm proud. I do not claim Tom Brady.
If you look at Chad Hiddy, you guys praised Chad Hiddy during his time there.
I claimed Denard Robinson.
Mario Manningham.
Super Mario.
I love that, actually. It was a good little crew. Who was the running back? Oh,
Whatever
shit.
this is, it doesn't look good for Ezekiel Elliott. Mike Hart, yeah.
Mike Hart,
a 99 carry rating in NCAA football. He never fumbled.
Let's be honest. What are we going to suspend him for pushing a security guard? Is
that what it is? What did he do?
Yeah, like it was some EDC guy that he wasn't even arrested. He was just detained for a moment.
EDC?
Yeah.
What's he doing at EDC?
Same thing as a lot of NFL players. Just he parties a little too hard.
That's fair. Nobody got on Julian Edelman or whoever it was for taking Molly at the Kentucky Derby.
Exactly, dude. I don't want to hear it.
Openly.
Julian Pedelman wins an MVP while being caught with steroids, dude.
Openly taking ecstasy at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, bro. And just passing out $100 bills from his winnings, causing a scene. No suspension. Get out of here. For fight news, the greatest fighter in UFC ever fights this weekend. He's going to win again. Jon Bones Jones. Another person I like with character issues. Seems to be a trend with me.
Did you see the last weekend's fight with Ngannou?
Yeah, it was he lasted a minute and a half.
He literally punched the guy in the neck. I thought the guy was going to die.
But here's my one thing about...
It was Ngannou and not any
was it Dos Santos?
It was Junior Dos Santos.
No, yeah, Dos Santos.
Not even some guy who's just like a Johnny-come-lately, which is like a 90-year-old person's phrase that they use. He's not a Johnny-come-lately. Junior Dos Santos was like a respected UFC fighter, and this guy beat the shit out of him. It was insane.
Oh, and that's the one thing that I really, really cannot stand about Cormier. Cormier beats everyone, as long as your name's not Jon Jones.
He's just not entertaining to watch. You have to respect what he does.
Great fighter, but it's like he's beat all these big names. The only name he hasn't beat is Jon Jones. So when you look at the guy that just won that week, didn't he lose to Cormier? Zeno Miocic lost to Stipe lost to Cormier, and I'm almost positive, what's his face it as well. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm not going to attempt to. I'll sound like an idiot.
Stipe Miocic?
No, I'm talking about the guy that just won.
Oh, Ngannou.
Yes, Ngannou. I'm not sure if they fought or not, actually, be 100%. Like I said.
Ngannou fought Miocic and he lost.
I know he fought Miocic and lost. I'm talking about, did he fight Cormier?
No.
Okay.
I think Cormier's only fight that he's ever going to do again is going to be against Jon Jones. I think he's getting to the point where he's not going to fight anymore.
The longer he waits, the harder it is for him, because I don't think that he needs to wait any longer.
Well, I love Jon Jones, but if he wouldn't keep on getting suspended, he could have had at least 5 more fights.
I don't want to hear that either. That's
what do you mean? It's his fault.
Oh, yeah, because Conor McGregor can do whatever the hell he wants and he doesn't get suspended.
Yeah, but
Brock Lesnar showed up to the same UFC event that he got suspended 230, he was like 280 pounds of six-pack, and they suspended him after.
Well, that's what they do. You have to let the fight go on and then.
They didn't do it with John. They suspended him before the fight.
Okay, but you can only do cocaine so many times.
I would rather him do cocaine, gets out of your system faster than testosterone.
Which is why it's so bad if you get caught for it. That means you did it the night before.
He got caught for taking Extends, actually, and Extends is not supposed to. Yeah. Yes. Or was it? No, it was Cialis. I'm sorry, it was Cialis.
Why?
Because, he probably had coke dick. I mean, if we're going to be honest about this, I ain't saying it on the air here, but, that's probably what he had.
Does that work?
I'm sorry if, anyone's ears got hurt, but that's probably what he had.
Such a nice boy.
I mean, that's my defense on him.
No, but you can only get suspended so many times. I love Jon Jones.
I agree, but
my favorite fighter, but stop getting fucking suspended in
They
fights.
are fighters. Are we really going to act like we want that? If you fight for a living...
then just don't test them. Who cares? Let them do whatever the fuck they want.
Personally, I think athletes should be allowed to do steroids.
Me too.
I do. It helps their recovery.
Not a controversial take.
It makes their recovery better, and it's for entertainment purposes. It is. That's what sports are for.
It has a bad name as far as sports go because of records and everything, but steroids is nobody talked about Lionel Messi took steroids when he was a kid.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Let's say you throw a pitcher Ty Cobb is not throwing against Mike Trout and having those numbers right now.
That's what I always say.
He's not.
And I say Larry Bird wasn't playing against Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I mean,
I slowed you down on that one. You weren't going to be on that one.
I'm not. I don't hate Larry Bird. I'm just not gung ho on him. You know.
He's just not as good as Steph Curry. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, if he shot in mass quantity as Steph, if he shot 12 three-pointers a game like Steph, I would not be shocked if the percentage.
All I'm saying is, tell me when I don't state a fact. Larry Bird, known as a really good shooter. Is he a better? What is he most known as? A good shooter? Is he a better shooter than Steph?
No, I mean, also it's tough to gauge that when you're shooting for mass quantity too. When you're allowed to shoot 13 3-pointers on average.
And when no one closes out on you because nobody played defense back then.
I don't want to hear it right now. No, there's 6 feet of space when guys shoot. Guys will wait at the rim to see if you miss, just to rebound and go back up the court. Guys don't even get in your face anymore. If you're wide open for a 3, they're like, fuck it. If he misses, I'll grab the rebound. If he makes it, he makes it. I mean, that's where we're at. There's no hand check.
I'm just saying, when Michael Jordan, everyone says the hand check thing. Okay,
how you bringing Michael?
Michael Jordan would average 50 nowadays. Yeah, because he was really playing against Anthony Davis.
I think Kobe would average 40 right now. He averaged 35 in a season at one point. To say that there's like more spacing and more 3-point attempts now that
he's James Harden. I mean,
he's not James Harden.
It's the same thing with the efficiency.
He's not James Harden now.
You take 40 shots, you're gonna make 40 points.
Yeah, but at least Kobe could trust on the defensive end. James, you're just like, God, well, at least it's 4 on 5 right now, not 3 on 5. Unless Chris Paul's out there and his hamstring's hurt.
Which is always.
3 on 5 defense. You know, you get rid of Trevor Ariza, we can play 3 on 5 defense just fine. That's another name. Trevor Ariza, is he in Sacramento?
Oh, I had it written down somewhere.
Like, that was an ad that I thought LA would be all over.
No, he didn't make my list.
That's a shame.
My last one on my list was Rozier to Charlotte.
I'm done with you. How dare you give Trevor Ariza no love?
For stretch, the third lowest person on my list is Julius Randle, who we didn't talk about to the next 3 years.
Yeah, Sacramento. But, you know, like I said, I love De'Aaron Fox. I think he's the best young player that's under, like, 22 right now.
What about Zion?
Nope. Sorry. I gotta see him. I gotta make sure you can't blow out your shoe and make Nike like say sorry 400,000 times. I want to see it.
Anything else on free agency? Do you want to talk at all about? We kind of neglected every other sport. I mean, USA Women's won today, 2-1. We're in the final. That was kind of expected, though.
We dominate. Our women.
Any thoughts on Major League Baseball, the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, the
I like that the Home Run Derby is really young right now. I like that we have Vlad Jr. going. I like Acuna's joining.
I think the smartest thing they did was to get those guys.
I like the young big names joining the Home Run Derby just because it makes it like I'm not a big component of the Home Run Derby because I can see where a person swinging a bat, it would throw off their groove because these guys go through literally.
I was going to ask you that. That's what I want to talk about the Home Run Derby. You say, when other people say, okay, it messes up your swing for the rest of the season. How does half an hour of swinging as hard as you can change your swing for the entire rest of the season?
I don't think it messes up for the rest of the season, but hitting, like, baseball is a very mental sport versus every other sport. I mean, it's going to be
hitting a bunch of home
thing.
runs is going to make you a worse player for the rest of the season?
When you start going for power and giving up form, it will translate when you keep doing that because if you put on a show.
For a week?
I'm just
saying. For the rest of the season?
It's been proven. Like we saw Josh Hamilton hit like 33 in a round, and all of a sudden, like what happened? He deflated. Aaron Judge hit like 200 the rest of the year after doing great in the Home Run Derby. You know what? Bryce Harper is perfect for the Home Run Derby. You want to know why? Because he doesn't give a shit if he strikes out or not. He doesn't care if his swing.
He's also always hitting 200 right now.
He wants to swing as hard as he can and make the ball go as far as he can.
They got 13 years left of that Bryce Harper contract.
These guys go, dude. Yeah, God, dude. And they're not even winning the division. Atlanta is right now.
You want to make some money? Anytime the Phillies play the Marlins, bet on the Marlins on the money line.
Bro, I was just about to say, Papa John's has a special that the Marlins score 5. You put Marlins 5 and you get a pizza like half off. Now, it's only worked like 12 times this year, but like 4 of it is against the Phillies.
I've been making some money with the Marlins against the Phillies.
It's unbelievable.
Yamamoto, who they got in that trade, Yamamoto is looking really good.
And you know what, I don't know, with the Phillies, I just wasn't big on what they were, I guess, doing as a whole with, we're going to go after Harper, but like, I wasn't big on the Harper signing for anyone personally. I just don't look at a guy who strikes out a lot and hits 250 is a big thing. You can't drive in 100 runs. That's my big issue with power hitters, when you can't drive in 100
when all those contracts were happening in the offseason, I was like, oh yeah, sign the guy, whatever, it's baseball, spend the money. But now it's kind of like, you can take that however many millions of dollars, spread it around, and you get lucky on a guy who winds up being the next Bryce Harper.
I'll be very big on this one. I know Yankee fans may think I'm crazy. I'm not big on extending Aaron Judge to a $450 million contract when his time comes up. I'm not trying to say anything crazy on him, but like, he's got an injury. I mean, he does have an injury history coming in. He's a big guy. And let's also be like, let's worry. The problem with these contracts are so back-ended. By the time they're 38 and 40, they're making like $45 million. There's not any type of talent at that age that's going to make you worth that money. And I've always been against that. Very, very strongly.
It's almost like by the time you sign the big contract,
Yes.
you've already played your best baseball.
And that's the thing baseball shown analytically is your best years come your first 4 years. And I get you're going to be, some guys do deserve to get rewarded. I thought the Arenado signing and the Mike Trout signings were nothing
But the
smart.
Arenado contract was tame compared to those other two contracts.
Yes. And he's also better than Machado is too, and also Trout is better than Harper is. Like, I thought those two signings made a lot of sense. I thought the 1-year deals that Keuchel signed, that Keuchel signed, what made sense. I wasn't big on the 3-year deal that Krimble got. I thought maybe a 2-year deal tops would be good on that one with the player option.
Some of these teams are just doing it. They're
Chicago needed to close.
They're giving up the money because they want it for the year that counts.
Yes, and Theo wants to win every year.
If it works in the 1 year, it's worth all the years.
As a fan right now, I'm pretty pumped. I mean, obviously, we got the Subway Series and a Tampa Series, and then we'll have the All-Star Game. I'm hoping, it's going to be a total of 6 games. We can win 5 in the next 6. I'll be very happy.
What's the deal with this All-Star thing as far as like every team has an All-Star? Is this like Little League? Like
It's kind of,
everyone gets a trophy?
It's the everyone.
Do the Tigers deserve an All-Star?
You guys, hold on. You guys have Boyd who's pitching pretty well, and you also have
Shane Green.
you got him from us actually. Boyd's been.
Why does everybody have an All-Star?
You want to get, because it's for the fan bases too. You want a fan base to go around, because you want everyone to see a player from their team. You want someone to represent the team. I really do get that.
I don't care if a Tiger's in it or not.
Dude, I'm with you on that. But
I don't watch Tigers games.
Yeah, but that's like a Tigers fan cares. Like, you're a big Michigan fan.
There's Shane Green. He's throwing 3 pitches in the 3rd inning, whatever the fuck.
Well, it's not that I'm not against everybody getting a player, but I do see your point on that, to where why are we just rewarding guys for being on a team at this point, being the best player on a team?
If your team sucks, then you don't have an All-Star.
The Angels suck, and Trout's an All-Star every year.
No, I'm saying the rule is every team has to have an All-Star.
Oh yeah, yes.
Like,
I'm shocked.
Who's the worst team in the league?
Kansas City, I think.
Yeah, who's their All-Star? Do they deserve an All-Star?
Dude, God, no. I can't think of anybody on that team who's All-Star.
Does anybody know who their All-Star is?
They'll probably have a reserve coming late and just thrown in.
Throw 2 pitches and get the fuck out of there?
And he may not even do that. He may just lace up shoes and that'd be it.
I'm looking for it. Royals.
Oh man, nobody, because they'd be American League.
Are you in the same camp as Stretch, where the American League needs to accept, or the NL needs to accept the DH?
Yes. We're all about offense, and I hate to say it, guys like Max Scherzer bunting and breaking his nose has to do with that rule. Guys that get hurt, pitchers who get hurt while swinging happens. They get hit with pitches. They get thrown at.
Tell me if this name is a real baseball player or not. Whit Merrifield.
It's a real baseball player.
Is the Royals All-Star? That's my point. Why do the Royals have a fucking All-Star that's an outfielder named Whit Merrifield?
God, yeah, especially for the outfield.
It sounds like he plays in like the 1960s. As old Whit Merrifield back on the track.
Yeah, because when you look at it, oh God.
He does not deserve to be next to the likes of Francisco Lindor.
Or Mookie Betts.
Whit Merrifield.
He's a reserve, and Mookie Betts being a reserve.
Anybody watching still at
me.
this point? Yes, that's a Major League Baseball player. Whit Merrifield.
Oh man. How about Hunter Pinch? Good for him.
Is it good for him? He's kind of an asshole.
Okay, dude. Like, how many pro athletes are not assholes though? Like, I feel like at that sense, like, you just hate people so much that you're just an asshole. Because you're tired of everyone saying, "Hey, I know who you are." Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Nah, he kind of seems like a real douche though.
I don't know. He's a weirdo to me. He drives. He's a real.
Yeah,
weirdo.
he looks like he comes out of the woods like just to play baseball, and then he goes back in the woods and sleeps at night.
Baseball news. Rest in peace to Skaggs.
What happened?
He was found unconscious. I haven't seen any reports actually saying a result or anything, but he was 27 when he died, and he was a big Angels pitcher. I remember he went to the Angels, got traded to Arizona, went back to the Angels. I mean, the Angels don't need any more hurt on their pitching, so it's obviously sucks to see that.
Which is not the first thing that you would think of as
No. It's like like I said, the guy being found unconscious. They haven't.
Like now they're gonna trade for a reliever. Oh god.
Well, the Angels. I mean, they're trying everything they can. I think Trout will be gone in 3 years. I think it's gonna be very.
What do you mean?
It's gonna be very Alex Rodriguez, Texas Rangers where it's just gonna be like, okay, we can't win spending all this money on one player. We're gonna have to move him out for a bunch of prospects now. Because you can tie in all this money, but if they don't make the playoffs for the next 3 years, what's the point in having them?
Well, they haven't made the playoffs for any of his career, really, have they?
That was kind of my...
Has he ever played in a playoff game?
He has, one game.
Wow,
He's
Yankees
gone
last 10,
1 for 3.
9-1.
Yeah, I know.
I guess you were kind of right with the last thing you said. Stop watching baseball.
Well, I mean, it's like I have some Braves some friends that are fans of the Braves, and they talk bad about us. But just remember, if we're in that division, we'd be up 11 games on all of you guys. So, I mean, it's a good year for New York, and I will say that we do need to add another pitcher. People question our pitching, but there's not a lot of teams with their starting rotation outside of Houston that you look at and like, oh my God.
I think the most impressive thing is to do the record that you have now without a lot of the players that you rely on.
That's my thing.
You're doing it without an MVP.
We've shown that we can go out there and play. We signed a big prospect too, some 16-year-old from the Dominican Republic. I didn't like my big thing I don't like about prospects is when
we'll check back on him in 10 years.
Yeah, that's my thing. And they worded him, because he's 16 signed, they worded him as if Mike Trout could switch hit. I'm like, all right, relax. Like, stop. The guy's 16.
I kind of feel like if Mike Trout wanted to, he could switch hit. I kind of feel like he's that kind of
I feel like he could hit from the left side better than Bryce Harper can hit from the left side. I believe he could hit 240 from the left side. I really believe Mike Trout could hit 240 from the left. I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. Like, I think he could go out there with the same approach as Bryce and hit 245.
Well, the Braves aren't that far behind you guys. They also play in a much shittier division, though.
Yeah, dude. I mean, God, give us the Mets, Phillies, and Nationals.
And the
Nationals
Marlins.
are a good one. The Nats are good for one game, and that's when Scherzer's out there.
And not even that.
It's like the Mets. They're good for one game. It's when DeGrom's out there.
I bet again, this is how bad the Tigers season. I bet against the Tigers when the Nats were playing them minus 1.5 run line. And Scherzer only allowed 1 run, and they wound up winning like 2 to 1.
Yes. It has a really big Roy Halladay feel when I watch.
Or like a DeGrom type thing.
Yeah. The NL Central, I think, is the closest division right now, though, if I'm not mistaken on that one. I know, like, the Reds are like 6 games out of it, and they're the last team.
Cubs are a game back. The Reds are 6.5 back.
Oh, 6.5, okay. And I watched that Pirates game last night, man. Josh Bell, give him hell. He looked great.
Yeah, that was funny. Brett was on the chat, and he's like, yeah, like, you're like, oh, look at Josh Bell. He's like, I don't watch every Cubs game.
Well, no, I was just saying, like, I mean, Josh Bell says he found out he was not a all-star starter. I mean, he's been locked in all year, but now it's like, you just see him now going out. I mean, he's just taking hangers. I mean, you hang him, we bang him. He's taking it 450 feet.
You hang him, we bang him.
Dude, it was great. I loved it. I like seeing a big guy that can hit a off-speed pitch 400 feet. Because you don't see that a lot with these guys.
So Yankees are going to win the chip. Who is he going to play in the World Series?
I said Milwaukee, but that's if Milwaukee adds another pitcher. I think the Dodgers have a great shot at it, but I still think that, I think Milwaukee and Chicago can jump on LA still. I mean, I'm not taking it away from LA, but again, we see this every year from them. They look great in the season. Then the playoffs come, or August comes, and you start to see fall off with Jensen starts to fall off. Their bullpen's not there. The Dodgers are going to be a great regular season team. I don't think they can beat them. I don't think they can beat the Astros if they were to see them in the World Series.
Yeah, what happened to Astros? They were really big last year, and I haven't really heard anything about them.
They're still in their division. They're doing solid this year. They're quiet because for whatever reason, but they're still, I think, 55 wins or something.
They're 6.5 up on the Rangers, but that's also a terrible division.
But I mean, I think they have the second best record in the American
Why
League.
are the Angels so bad? That's
no pitching.
That's another thing about giving all these guys this $400 million contracts. Like, you give it to Trout because he's Trout, but one guy. What if they didn't have Trout? What would they be? They're under 500.
Oh, that's why I say WAR stands for without a ring when it comes to Mike Trout. That's what WAR stands for him. Yeah, cool, dude. You got the greatest WAR in history. It doesn't mean anything at this point.
But it's not his fault.
I'm not saying it's his fault, but his WAR can be 20, but they're always 22.5 out of the playoffs.
So they're still 2.5.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. Yeah, WAR means a lot, but does it? Like, I get what you're saying. WAR means, it's like...
It's not basketball. One guy can only do two.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. Like, I don't take any knock because I think Trout's obviously, I think he's the second best, but he's obviously the best player to a lot of people. I don't take any knock on him. I just don't think that...
They needed more in basketball.
They needed to trade him, I thought, a year ago, so they could have gotten somebody's whole farm system. Like, you could have gotten 5 pitchers, 3 position players, 2 major league ready guys.
Is that almost better? Like, would you rather?
I think it is. Like, if you look at Tampa.
You can't trade Trout, but if you did trade Trout, you could get almost an entire team back.
You look at Tampa. I mean, Tampa every year, and the one thing I have a great respect towards Tampa is every year they find
Well,
themselves
they're always
in the
willing
mix.
to trade their best player.
But they're always in the mix as they stay young, and their developmental is such a great thing. That's one thing New York did. New York did a lot of work on their developmental system as well as their scouting on and overseas scouting, international scouting. They're very big on developing players. That's why the Rays won 90 games last year, but they weren't in the playoff hunt because you had 2 teams with 100-plus wins in the conference.
I guess we can see what the difference is because whatever the record for the Orioles last year was, it wasn't 24-60.
They were really bad.
You take Machado off that team, and they're.
I mean, they were really bad last year, though. Like
we're through half the season, and they're 31 games out of the.
Yeah, like it's.
If they won 31 games in a row and the Yankees lost 31 in a row, they'd be tied for the lead.
Yeah, I guess I just don't tie in WAR into like players should get paid this and that. It's a great glamorous stat, but
and Brett was also against WAR, and it said it's against a made-up player.
yes,
But
like
it's the average player, like the average stats.
but like some WAR will go out and say that like there's been like people will go out and speak negative about Javi, and Javi is still like. His WAR may not be as high as Trout, but his spark to the team in Chicago is much needed.
He might be like the most underrated player in baseball.
He does get a lot of praise. I do think he gets a lot of praise, but I mean, you need a guy like him because he's going to put a spark to the team. He gets a big hit when he gets he gets big hits when needed for that team. He can an inning can start off like yesterday. They started off down like 5-0. Leadoff hitter hits a home run. It gets the team going because they get back in the game. They're down like 3 runs, but then the game gets out of control. But like someone like Javi, who his WAR may not be in the ceiling, but at the same time he's very effective and much needed for that team still. I'm not knocking WAR completely because I do think analytics do play a part into sports, especially baseball right now. It's going to play more and more into other sports as it goes on. But I don't look at WAR and think, yeah, this is why you deserve the contract because your WAR says this, or your MVP, I still think that. Like I said, if I was the Angels, if you don't make the playoffs in 2 years, move them because you need to steal someone's farm system. And you can truly steal a great farm system from
Well, they
that.
can move him at any point. I mean, I just don't think you could do that as far as like.
I think you got to give it a couple of years.
Trading the best player in baseball.
And I get what you're saying there, but like I said, if you can steal someone's farm, like if you can steal 5 very good prospect pitchers.
You almost can't get enough back for Trout.
And
you're not going to get equal value.
You won't get the player, but when you get your all-in-all return, all of a sudden you have a great starting rotation because you have three of those 5 panned out, and you get a player who is ready to play today, and then 2 other prospects for like infield or catching or whatever. You can make it work and also have the money to spread throughout because they need Pujols' contract to come off books still. And Ohtani, I don't believe in the Ohtani effect like some people do. I think he's gonna be.
He's awesome.
I think he's
just
like
got
DH,
hurt.
strictly a DH. But that's the thing, he's always hurt.
Oh, he's a good pitcher too.
He gets shelled and then he gets hurt. Like he can't throw.
When
like
he
his elbow hurts.
when he was pitching, he was a good pitcher, and then he got hurt.
But he had like 5 outings and then his elbow was sore. That like it's a and that's the thing that does happen with Japanese pitchers. They're not used to throwing like the rate that we do out here. The games are spread out by 4 more days. So you can be a stud out there, but you come out here, there's less time in between, and there's more.
He came back right away, just hitting. He's only going to hit this year, but he was good right away.
I think he's
not a DH.
I just don't. Well, I don't think there's a player good enough to play two ways.
Anyone can play first base if you really want him to play first base.
But then where are you going to put Pujols? I mean, or where are you going to put Upton? Where are you going to put all these other guys?
At the DH?
They have too. Well, they have too many guys that are DH or first baseman.
First base and DH are pretty much interchangeable to me.
I think Ohtani at this point. I mean,
what's the big difference between DH and first base?
I would want someone who's actually like seasoned and knows how to play first base. I mean, first base can cost you a lot of runs if you have a shit first baseman. I mean, it can cost you something. It can cost some easy plays if you have a bad first baseman. And I know we're talking about first base.
All they're really doing is catching it.
Okay, well, what if PFPs come in place? Because I mean, if they're playing a team and then PFP comes into place and he can't get to the bag or he doesn't play bunt drills correctly. I mean, Pujols is a very seasoned first base. If they made the postseason, I'd want Pujols at first base.
Well, he's also like 10 years older than Ohtani too.
But that's kind of my whole point. Like, you still have to have a good defensive unit. Like, defense is still going to be a high priority. I'm not against Ohtani. I just don't think that I never believed in he could pitch and hit. It's not going to happen.
I think he can.
This league is too good for that. We're not the Japanese league. We're too good of a league for that.
He did it before he got hurt.
And he didn't do it well.
Yes, he did.
He was not a good pitcher when he was in. He was. He was good for the Angels. He wasn't a great pitcher for
yeah,
baseball.
He was.
He went out there for 5 innings, like 5 outings. Like, he wasn't a great pitcher.
Yes, he was.
He was. If you're looking at a guy who's going to go both ways, no. He needs to focus on one or the other.
I think
Major League Baseball is too tough for that to happen.
I don't think that's true.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying guys take 4 or 5 days in between pitch outings to recover from their pitching. There's a process. So if you're telling me that he's going to have to split that, I just don't. Then Madison Bumgarner can do it. Then Zach Greinke could have done it. And Zach Greinke was known as one of the best.
No, because they're not hitters like that.
Zach Greinke was known as one of the best outfielders coming out of high school.
They're not as good of hitters as Ohtani
He was a better hitter. He has the home run record in the state of Florida. Zach Greinke was known as, he could have been an outfielder. He could have been a 5-tool outfielder people were talking about when he came out. I'm not trying to say Ohtani's not a good player. I just don't think he can do both. I don't think it can be done. It's like playing both ways in football. You can't do it anymore. I don't see a guy doing it. Like, we're not going to see your guy, Jabril Peppers, do it. Jabril did it great in college. He was a two-way player in college. He could make plays on both sides. He's not going to Cleveland and do it. Or New York and do it now.
Yeah, he got traded. That's also not a fair comparison, though.
I mean, I'm just saying, like the preparation pitchers have in between from the day they pitch to the next day they pitch is about 4 or 5 days of rehab and also getting accumulated and also looking at scouting reports. It's not just like I can go out there, go hit for 3 days and go throw again. Like there's a process to it that I think that people think that he did in Japan. Japan's not the same.
It already happens where in half of the league, the National League, where the pitchers hit. I mean, he could easily do that. It's the same thing.
I get. See, if he went to a National League team, that would make more sense to me, and I will not discredit that. Because if he went to the Dodgers, it would make more sense. Because then he would be able to do that more. But he's, like I said, they need pitching. They brought him in because he's also a very good pitcher. I just think on that you got to figure out one or the other with him. I don't think you can have him do both. And I understand their pitching's awful, so he probably could there, but I just don't look at it and think, oh my God.
He was a really good pitcher when he pitched.
I think really good's being stretched hard.
I'm trying to find it right now. No, I'm trying to find the pitching stats.
Because they only show us hitting.
Which he was a 300 hitter. Because they don't make stats. Okay, here's the pitching. So he had 6 outings. 3.31 ERA, 10 games.
Like that's not enough outings to say like he wasn't healthy for it.
But he got hurt, but he was good when he did it.
He got hurt from a pitching injury though, like from his elbow hurting. That's kind of like my big thing on this. Like there's a lot of wear and tear going through throwing 90 pitches and then getting back out and going hitting and then going to go see your next team. Like it's just a lot more of a process. Like I said, you said 10 outings. I mean, a pitcher's going to see about 27 outings. So does he? I mean, Ubaldo Jimenez one year was 17-2 with the All-Star break and fell apart. I'm not saying he can't pitch. I'm just saying he can't do both. I think it's better to keep him as a hitter because he's got a sweet left-handed swing. Especially with the launch angle era, he's got pretty much all launch angle.
These are a lot of numbers and words. I can't read this.
All numbers and words. What are we looking for here?
Yeah, a lot of numbers and letters.
Pitching metrics.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Anyways, I think we got most of what we wanted to get into as far as NBA free agency, all that kind of stuff. You got stuff to go do. What's up?
New podcast? What are we doing on the new one?
Duck Country.
Duck Country.
It's a new podcast?
What are we
I didn't know
talking
about this.
What's the Duck Country talk? Like, give us a snippet before.
Yeah, what is it? I don't know about this.
Talking about duck hunting and duck racing.
Okay.
Who's doing it?
Someone wearing a Yankees hat. Another
Next,
Yankee
coming
fan.
up now? Yeah. Oh, it's lit. All right. I didn't know about that. I thought they were just looking over here in interest. So this was, anything else you want to get in? Nets going to win the championship the next 4 years in a row.
2 out of 4. And
2 out of 4.
Like I said, if you're a Magic fan saying, well, you only got him for 3 years, well, we got him 3 more years than you'll ever have him. There we go to you guys.
This was Analytically Correct, free agency fucktacular edition. Stretch, producer, Rob, me, Marty, obviously. Thank you guys for watching. If you watched to this point, really thank you. We kind of went off the rails there towards the end, talking about Angels pitching.
They need it.
Yeah,
they need a lot of it.
We'll be back next week.
Trout may get an outing next time.
Thank you guys. That's why the Knicks are not in the Bundesliga.
The Bundesliga. I love it. Are we actually like, Stretch, let us know when we're exiting, so it's not a bad exit of the class. So we just kind of just dropped the mic and walked off the stage. B-rabbited it.
We're just like, all right.
well, like, I guess we're done. Like,
bye, guys.
the awkward half hug, you know.
I'm
like,
gonna go to piss.
I probably should have cut it off right after you said Bundesliga.
Later,
well,
guys.
that's what I got I was like, okay, I'm taking everything off, and I was like, oh, wait,
Later,
we're still
guys.
going. Go Nets, go Yankees.
Bundesliga.